Ooh, go ahead, try it on.
Welcome back, Rapunzelites. Yep, I just made that term up for this series. In this episode, I'll be making Rapunzel's first magic dress and her mighty dragon friend, Penelope. So let's get to it. I will be using the ever gorgeous CEO sculpt, and I might change the body up to a 2010s fashionista body. I'll start off with making Penelope's wire armature. I have the doll beside it so that I can make the armature to scale. I'm using a thicker wire for the main parts like the spine, legs, and arms. I'll first join these together and secure them with super glue and baking soda. The joints, I mean. It will hold the structure so that I can build the base of the body onto it easily. I will add a thinner wire to make sort of a frame for the paper filling. I'm filling the shape with newspaper and securing that in place with some masking tape. After somewhat of the structure is formed with paper and tape, I will use foam clay. And as I proceed, I will make the shapes more defined, like a base filling of paper, then a top covering with foam clay. And when this will dry, I will start with the main air dry clay, which I've made myself, and it dries very sturdy, and which is why I just love it. I gave it 24 hours to dry, so I'm absolutely sure. And here I have Rapunzel's hair. So okay, this is synthetic hair extensions for humans / people. I don't know. I prefer this over other doll hair types for longer rehairs like Rapunzel's because it has a bit more body while it's better at staying untangled. I will dye this hair just a little darker and a little warmer. Now I will start filling Penelope's shape with my air dry clay. I will first cover her whole body with this clay and smooth it a little bit overall and then let it dry. After it will dry, that is when I will start the actual sculpting part. I cover the body meticulously, but when it'll dry, it will have cracks where one piece of clay was added onto the other, and it's an absolute easy fix. After it dries, I then refine the shapes even further by filling up the cracks and gaps and proceeding towards further sculpting. So many things I eliminate during the editing process in these videos because right now this channel is not as big, so I'm not wanting to make really long videos, even though that's maybe a good idea, but I don't know, I'm not sure. You guys tell, obviously you know better, but personally I'm like, let's just make them smaller, shorter for now, and then later as I progress we'll see if I can, make longer videos. It's also a hassle to edit as well, so that's that. Also, I'm working on the hair side by side during the clay drying sessions. I did dye the hair, sort of toned it a bit. It's very subtle. I don't know if you can tell the difference on camera. So what I do to make the hair plugs is I take some hair, cut it, remove some extra short bits if there are any, and then glue the top of the hair plug to set it in place. And I do this for hours upon hours till I have plenty to work with. After the body clay is dry, I will make the hands and feet. Oh, let me take this moment to talk about how much I love Penelope. She is a dragon, but she is vulnerable and empathetic, opposite to what the actual world tries to make us into. She offers us this message that if you're strong and powerful, you don't have to lack kindness and sensitivity. All of it can and should coexist. So after the hands and feet are dry, I'll make her wings. I use wire for the top part and this round foam lining to put on the wire. I've cut out the shape of the wing. For the wing veins, the cartilage inside, I'll use these wooden skewers. I'll use fabric to make the wings part. 2 layers of white fabric between which I'll glue down the wing cartilage thingies. I'll glue the main wire foam part onto it too. This wire part will make the wings stretch and contract, which will be sort of fun. After the glue dried, I'm painting the wings with acrylics, and after the paint dried in the morning, I used purple pastels to shade the cartilage parts as well. Now I will start filling the cracks and proceeding towards sculpting the ears and then defining the face. There are just so many things I love about Penelope's character, like standing up to the bully even though she knows Gothel is obviously in charge and much more powerful than her and her dad even. She still stands up for her friend. How often do we see that these days though? People keep quiet even if they know something is wrong. They just give into someone's power manipulation tactics and stay quiet. Both Penelope and Hobie spoke up when they felt Gothel is being unfair, and what a lovely lesson it is for children. Then on the other side, she also cares about her father's concerns. It's not like her interests are caged just for her friend. She is wholesome. She worries to impress her father, even though it means stepping out of her comfort zone and battling with her fears. See, this is how actual strength blossoms. She could have been arrogant or self-absorbed. After all, she was the daughter of a mighty dragon. But we learn that might does not bloom where fire only burns. It is grown where flexibility exists. All the powers of the world are useless if there isn't compassion, and because courage is definitely fueled by softness, not stiffness. Okay, so after I'm done adding clay to the body where needed, I move on towards the face, adding some to the cheeks and under the face. I'm looking at reference pictures side by side here, also to better understand the shape of the face. I spend more time on the face area. I sculpt a little, let it dry, then after the break I can see what I need to do to achieve what I have in my head and what the reference pictures are telling me as well. I don't add too much at once because in this phase of the process, less is more, definitely, because sanding would be a hassle if too much clay is added. So I thought I'd add just some texture on her body and have a few scales showing here and there, but then no, I started carving the scale shapes and I just had to do the entire body. It just wasn't looking good. I'm sculpting the ears after the head clay is all dry, and I gave her a sanding session outside which took a long time. After the ears dried, I sanded them gently. I'm now giving her scales on her face, just very subtle so that it doesn't really stand out too much after the painting job is done. I've made her spine scale things with foam clay, then I let them dry and then I glue them on. Now let's move towards Rapunzel's dress. I have two very flowy fabrics and I made the patterns earlier for the top purple part and the white simpler undergown. I cut the patterns out on fabric and I've prepared some pieces by pressing tulle as a backing fabric with water soluble fabric in the middle, so sewing tiny parts isn't as flimsy of a job. I start by sewing the sleeves. First I sewed the top puff, then the lower puff part I gathered and sewed, and then the middle purple cuff I basted, then attached it all together. Then I sewed the top part of the dress. Now I contemplated a lot whether to use this lighter sort of lavender color or go with a dull darker color, but I couldn't go with the darker color even though I spent so much time dyeing the fabric to that dull dark purple color. I just didn't like it enough to move on with it, so I thought to keep pastel theme of the older Barbie movies roll here as well. I sewed the lining of the top part with the same fabric, so when it folds, it's an even color on both sides. Then I sewed it together, right sides facing. This is what it looks like so far. This side is pressed and this isn't. It looks like a blob of fabric. I'm just finishing the white part as well and then less work will be left for the dress. Now back to Penelope. I gave her a coating of semi-thin white glue, and then when it dried, I sprayed a layer of fixative as well outside. I'm painting her with acrylic paints. I give her 2 tones of purple for dimensionality and coverage. The 2 tones help with the visibility of the scale carvings. Oh, I painted this mid part so many times. I was stuck with darker paint and wasn't going lighter for some reason, and the tone was even pinkier than I wanted it to be until the very end. I paint a few scales here and there as well. At this point, all painting job is mostly dry brushing colors onto the surface for a textured look. I gave her only 1 purple wash in the middle, elsewise all the color that is being applied are just with the dry brush technique. On the face, I applied paint to a few scales, then dry brush the surface so it blends well. I've made nails for her out of foam clay. Now I'll paint her huge eyes. I've showed 1 layer on camera, but I do about 3 in real time for each color and tone. At this point, I was so relieved that all the hard work on her face had somewhat paid off. I'll also apply false lashes, something I usually never do here, but it's a fitting for this girl for sure. I trimmed the lashes after the glue dried, so they're not crazy big. So the rehair was finished behind the scenes, and yas, the long Rapunzel hair. Oh, I didn't include the face prep part. Oh well. I'm trying to keep these videos not too long, but yeah, simple process. I draw the eyes with a 3H pencil, and I've kept the lip shade. I'll only dull it a little bit and then seal it with matte varnish. I proceed with thin layers of acrylic paints for all colors. I will give her some subtle eyeshadow purple color with pastels, a teeny bit lighter lid, and this is not the actual end. I painted the lids with a lighter acrylic color after this as well. So yes, now on to the grand reveal. I am so happy with the second episode of the series. So since this is an ongoing series, I want to take this opportunity to get to know my viewers' interests further. So do answer the pinned question down below. I'm thinking of asking about any other characters you guys love, like maybe from Cartoon Network or Pokemon and stuff, like from the Y2K era. That would be awesome to know, because maybe I'll sometime make custom of those characters as well. I hope you guys enjoyed the process and liked the end result. Share this with more Barbie Rapunzel fans, and stay tuned for the 3rd episode, a New Year special. With that said, take care. See you again very soon. Peace.